All right, everybody. Thanks for joining me here in Oval Window Racing. Still in the garage, and Simon's still in pieces. Waiting on a camshaft. So if you guys been following, you know I used to get my cams ground from Steve Long Racing Cams. Well, unfortunately, Steve's not with us anymore, so had to find somebody else. Pretty quick at getting stuff out. He did his own work and stuff, but you know, you start dealing with other people, and they're the middleman. He's got to wait, and then I got to wait. Hopefully, it won't be too long, and hopefully, I like the cam. I'm going with an SL Racing, I think it is, and it's a turbo grind. When I get it in stock, we'll take a look, but. Yeah, wasn't really expecting to do a cam change. I was hoping to get a little more life out of this. This was the last cam I had Steve grind for me, and it's been a good cam. Unfortunately, the first cam I had him grind for me was in 3 pieces because I lost a connecting rod. But this is what I noticed when I took it apart. The cam actually started pitting there and a little on this lobe here. Was there any on this one? And a little bit on that one there. Oh, and that one's starting to pit too. I didn't really notice it in too many of the lifters, of course, except for this one. That's pretty bad. You know, I might have been able to get another summer out of this, but it's probably better to pull it out. But most of the other lifters look pretty good. One's got a nice ring around it, so it's been spinning. That one may have something starting there. It's hard to tell. These are scat luba lifters, and these have been ground once before because I had a pitting issue before. Yeah, pretty much it was just the one lifter that looked really bad, and about every one of these lobes is starting to look really rough. You know, one of the things this helps me do is slow down and get some of the other projects I was kind of hoping to get done. Like linkage stuff. This is the crazy linkage setup I came up with when I decided to run the single throttle body. And yeah, it's probably way more over-engineered than it needs to be. I mean, technically, if I would tilt this, well, not really. If I tilted it this way, it's got to turn that way. So yeah, that would probably work. And I probably wouldn't need all this fancy-dancy contraption that I Frankensteined up with old bearings and throttle linkages and stuff. But no, for some reason I decided I wanted all my wires on top, so that's why they got mounted this way. If I turned it, then the wires would all be in the front, and I don't know, I thought that would be a little bit of a hassle. It may eventually get turned someday, or I don't know. How's a twin throttle body system sound? If I could figure out how to do that, that might be kind of fun, using a couple of these. But what I'm doing is just try to eliminate this. And this is, well, I call it a ball joint. I called it a Heim joint, but it's technically a ball joint. This setup, I just basically ran the throttle cable into this and pinched it down as soon as it came out of the hole. And the tough thing about that is, well, I'll show you here, is the first time you get it through there, you know, that's not too bad, but then it starts to fray and fray and fray. So what happens is you wind up spending hours trying to feed that frayed thing through the ball joint. Well, I tried something a little different here, and I think it's gonna work. I'll give you a closer look at it here. This is a new ball joint, and what I wound up doing is just drilling a hole in the top, and then I bought this well, I think it's like a mini bike throttle cable. So it's just a slide jobber. It fits through the fan shroud pretty nicely. And so I drilled a hole, and then I put a slit in it. So the hole's the same size as the little end cap here. And I should probably get a second one of these. And I got more modifying to do. First I gotta figure out how long I want the extra here to be. And I'm going to hook it up on top of the transmission someplace into the existing into the existing throttle cable. I just got to find a spot on top of the transmission there that is free so it doesn't get hung up. I'm going to keep the original one just in case, because I believe I've got a spare throttle cable, and I'll throw this in the drag and drive box. And I'll probably get another one of those mini bike throttle cables there and throw one of those into the drag and drive box. Always have spares. They're small pieces, and they pack really nicely. But yeah, can't wait to get him back on the road. So what's next is I'm going to try to figure out where I want the throttle cable to go, and then I'll stick whatever you want to call my half engine here. It should be pretty easy to just kind of quickly mount in there and trial fit everything. But what's going to be nice about this throttle cable, I can just leave it through the engine, figure out how to unhook it easily underneath the car there, and then I can pull the engine and everything out and not try to have to remember to feed that old throttle cable in through the tube. Done that once or twice. Get in a hurry installing the engine, then you forget to run that through, and then if you do, it's a pain in the butt to try to find that hole when the engine and everything's in the car. Trust me, I know. But yeah, better get back to work so we can see how we're going to do that. Here's the original path of the throttle cable. I actually bought a sleeve to put it in, but I got all that space in between the transmission here and the clutch cable. That's kind of where I'm going to make that union joint, which just means I'm going to have to shorten this plastic sleeve, and of course shorten this frayed mess. Come on. And yeah, do that. And then I'm going to lightly bolt the short block / fan shroud engine back in there. And yeah, probably should remove that first. And like I said, this will have to be shortened before I join them. So I got to figure out how to do that. Now the whole idea of doing this is I'm trying to get the bind out of the cable. Right now I got to draw it kind of tight in order to get the throttle blade to open up all the way. And I'm trying to eliminate that. I may actually refab that little throttle, I don't know what you want to call that, wing in there, and make one of the arms just a little bit longer. Because before I always thought it was kind of best to have it short and tight. But what I'm finding is it seems to hold the throttle open just a little bit, increasing the RPMs by 400 or 500 RPM. So I'm actually going to try to reverse my thinking and think it might be better to have a little bit of slack in the cable instead of having it too tight. And I guess we'll do trial and error. Then if I don't like all this, we'll try to re-engineer something else, but probably won't be anytime soon, because as soon as I start getting this, as soon as I get the camshaft in, I got to get this back together to get him back on the road and get some testing done, because Michigan Miles will be here before we know it. It is end of May, and Sick Michigan Miles is the middle of August, towards the end of August. So yeah, I got a little over 2.5 months to get this thing tested and hope everything goes good, because I don't even know if the brakes work yet. I put all new disc brakes all the way around and haven't got them adjusted or tried. Woo, but enough gabbing, let's get back to work. Okay, engine is lightly bolted in. Taking the driver's side tire off here. And I'm gonna get a look underneath here. This is what's gonna be the hard part, is trying to figure out how to get my hands and my face, everything up underneath there. What I'm probably gonna do is maybe put a window in here. Now, some of this is kind of a double-layered support, but I think if I just maybe pop a window in here so you can either get an arm and or an eyeball in there, then I can see. And, you know, that's gonna make the car lighter, right? Well, this is kind of what I want to put underneath there. That's like just a little throttle coupler deal. Got a hole for your cable, and then it's threaded through here. And I'm noticing, you know, when you buy this kit, it's in the help section at most of your auto supply stores, they're different thicknesses. I'm hoping that I get both my cables through this thick one, because what I would like to do is run the cable this way and the bolt this way. That way, when it's underneath the car, it's traveling like this and not like this, but or what I want might not be what I get. I may have to go with one of these thicker ones or thinner ones. And then if I go with a thinner one, there's not much room for threading. I guess really, you know, it's really not going to matter if it travels this way. I just thought it'd be more streamlined this way. But the first thing I will do when it comes to these is get rid of this Phillip head thing and go with more of a Hexon bolt. You know, you can put a wrench on this thing and really crank her down, where trying to crank it down with a screwdriver, I don't know, you ain't gonna get the torque on it like you can the regular wrench. Yeah, but that's the plan. I marked the cables underneath there, and now I gotta take that back out. It's not that hard since it's only part of an engine, and it's easy to get behind there and unbolt things. But yep, the next step is to get that out without dropping it. Okay, what I did was measure the length that the cable from where it was sticking out to here was roughly 32 inches. So I pulled it through about 34 inches. So now I can make my cut where I got my mark there, and then push it back through and oil it. So I got the air compressor fired up. I just got to find my cutting tool and go to town. Okay, that's cut. Now I'm going to lube it up with some of this Driven speed lube. Yes, if you guys aren't aware, Driven sells more than just motor oils. This should be way better than WD-40. So I got the straw on. I'm just going to try to squirt it up the back of the hole here. Then I'm going to squirt it on the cable as I shove it back through. Hopefully it goes back through easily. Just like that, well lubed. Yeah, I use that speed lube on just about everything. Garage doors, should always lube those. Door hinges. My brother likes it for his wheelchair axles, and then he's got one of those pedal racing bikes for exercise, and he lubes everything up on there that moves with it. So he has some really good stuff, and I had a hard time just wiping it off my hands. I may have to go get some soap. Yeah, so the next step's going to be to shorten that original throttle cable, and then shove this all back in the car, and try to figure out how I'm going to clamp it. Okay, so I made a hole in this bigger so it would accommodate both cables. I wanted them to be comfortable to slide in and out of there. I possibly could go one more size up with the drill bit, but I'm going to try this. Well, I got this thing in here, and it's not going to work. Look how much slack's in that. It's hard underneath the car, but I've tried to get the slack out of it by pulling it through, and it's not working. I'm gonna probably have to come up with like some type of a turnbuckle, but you know, it can't be really big, so I may have to fab something up. I'm gonna make a trip to the hardware store and see what's available, but yeah, on to the next drawing board. Okay, we are in Plan B mode. I went out to the hardware store and purchased this turnbuckle. It's aluminum, so it should be fairly light. And I hope it doesn't protrude. It's, well, it is a little bigger than one of these things, but I'm thinking this should be easier because I can actually loop the cable on both ends here, and you know, if it's drawn tight, it's not going to fall off. But then when I actually do pull the motor, I can just loosen this up and pull the cable off. And then I bought some of these, I guess these are crimps, some type of a crimp. But what I didn't check was if I could loop these through. I may be running back to the hardware store, seeing if they got bigger ones in. Well, yeah, I can't even get this one all the way through. So I didn't bring a cable with me, so I'm going to need to run to the hardware store and see if they got a different crimp. Good thing they're not that expensive. And then stopped at the old Harbor Freight and got myself some ratcheting crimpers. So hopefully I can get these nice and tight. I got to figure out how these things work. I've crimped a lot of things, but never with a ratcheting crimper. And oh yeah, they got their sale going on, so these were on sale, 30% off. All right, got back from the hardware store, and they actually call these things ferrules. Don't know why. Oops, and they're very small, and I left the other cable inside the car. But this is kind of what it looks like. And it's made out of aluminum, and it's tiny. You drop it, you'll lose it forever. So the idea is gonna be to string. I'm not using this cable, this is just for an example of what we're gonna do. This should go through here. I'm gonna run it back through here. And try to make this loop probably about as small as I can. And then we'll crimp that. We'll do that on the other cable, and then, you know, hopefully be able to hook both ends of the turnbuckle and then be able to snug it up and get rid of the slack. So let's cross our fingers, hope this works. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to go to plan C, which is gonna be a lot more fabricating because I've been whipping something up in my brain, and yeah, it's gonna be a lot of work. Oh yeah, these things seem to work pretty cool too. You just keep ratcheting it down until it's done. And then there's a release right here to release it. Pretty straightforward. Well, there we are. And it actually sits really nicely. I don't see anything in the way. And I've already pumped the throttle a couple times, and I like the way it feels. I will have to probably readjust it. Let's see if we can get a little, because you can see one of the hooks is longer than the other, but yeah, that's sweet. That was simple. A lot easier than what I was dreaming up. I'm gonna have to get somebody to pump the throttle and make sure I'm getting full throttle, and then make sure it's clearing. And what I'll probably do is when I do take the engine out, maybe if there's enough slack, I'll just throw the part that's going into the car up over the my homemade Kafer bar. Or, well, I could probably lay on the transmission if I don't have to take the transmission out, but what's the chances of that? Very likely. All right, I got a helper. Convinced the wife to come out here, and she's going to operate the pedal. So go ahead and push it all the way to the floor. No, you're my helper. Did you go all the way to the floor? Yeah. Okay, and then come back. Do it again. All right, go back. Now I gotta see if I'm getting full throttle. All right, operate it again. And yeah, it's almost all the way open. Sweet. Oh, the lovely assistant came in, coach. Got that pressed. I'm kind of excited that that's gonna work. Looks like the throttle is pretty much, I don't know if I'm gonna gain any more having it come out open just a little bit more, but I do have more adjustment on the bottom there for the screws. And I think what I'm gonna have to do, of course, is make sure that they're even. Right now it's just kind of a trial fit, but I'd like to, I gotta put some lock nuts on there, because once I get it adjusted, I don't want it to move. So yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out what thread that is on there, and get a, well, there's gonna be a right hand and a left hand threaded nut. I'll probably have to order the, I'm going to say the left-handed one. To figure that out. I can never remember if it's right or left-handed. Whatever one's backwards. I'll probably check. I still got some carburetor stuff up there. Maybe I have one back up there for some old Webers I have, but I think those are smaller. We'll find out. I got a little more research to do, but yeah, I think that's it for today. Next will be the gas tank I got to get in, and yeah, then it's putting the engine back together and getting that in the car, and yeah, I know I was saying something about not having the camshaft and waiting for it. Well, I got a tracking number today. So I should have the cam hopefully sometime next week. Then I can start mocking it up and getting the engine back together and back in the car. Because, yeah, we're going on, we're first week of June. So, yeah, some more work going on. It's going to be a good part of the June here before I even on the road. And I'm in Michigan. And that means middle of June means towards the end of June means, yeah, we're pretty much halfway done with our driving season. So, yeah, I'm a little disappointed on that. But, hey, it is what it is. Yeah, we're going to be getting hopefully a good camshaft. And we'll be getting a look at that coming up here pretty shortly. So, yeah, keep cruising. Keep shifting those gears. And always enjoy the ride. I'm out of here.